Hello there, friends. It's Jimmie Maverick. It is August 1st. The Hall of Fame game is this evening. Football is back on television. How awesome is life right now? And I'm going to do a mock draft. We're going to see where players are at, what they're doing, who are good choices. And so we're going to do a 12-team mock today, picking second. So obviously, picking second is a great place to be. You know you're going to get yourself an elite running back. And, but let's see the rest of the team, how the rest of the team builds out. And we're going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to help us pick players. You see, we have got about 2 minutes here. I want to invite you all to please go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com, okay? That is where you're going to find my app. It's exclusively available through my website. Here it is right here. All you got to do is just click this to start the app, or if you haven't done so already, you got to subscribe. So subscribe to the app right there. But once you log in, it's going to ask you 3 questions, and we've already got the app set up. So we are doing a half-point PPR, league size 12, draft position 2, and we're not using any player filters. If you look over here on the far right side, there's a number of filters you can apply to eliminate players from the list, but we're going to operate under the assumption where I want to see all the players, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about how the app works and how it's going to help you separate the good players from the bad players in each round of the draft. All right. So up at the top, you can see we've got position filters up here. So if you want to look just at the quarterbacks or the running backs or the wide receivers, you click that. And this is each round of the draft. So obviously our picks are clustered together. So we only have tabs for each of these rounds, but if you're in more of the middle rounds, you're going to see a separate tab for each round of the draft. All right. So who should we pick first, right? Obviously, in most likely case, Saquon Barkley is going to go first, right? So you've got Zeke, you got CMC, you got Alvin Kamara. In half-point PPR, who's the player that you should pick? Well, right now, my app is recommending Alvin Kamara, okay? Now, all these guys are good, right? I mean, if you look at my Vork score, which is how I rate players, it's basically these 4 columns over here based on how they do. They get points, and then those points are added up. They get you a Vork score. You know, Alvin Kamara scores 53 points, which is very good. Saquon Barkley scores 51. Christian McCaffrey scores 50. Ezekiel Elliott scores 49. They're all good, right? They're all good. But if you want to look at, when we're looking at the overall situation, Alvin Kamara's is just enough better for me to want that kind of player just based on the level of this offense, his role in the offense, which I expect to grow. It is a contract year for him. So he's playing for his next contract this year. There's a lot of positive things. Plays with one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. This is all things that I want in my first player. And so that's what we're going to do. So we are on the clock. You can see that Alvin Kamara is right there. Oh, look, he took, who did he take? Zeke. The guy took Zeke first. It's interesting. Saquon is there. But again, is Saquon a bad choice? Absolutely not. I don't think he's a bad choice, but I just like the upside and potential that Alvin Kamara is offering you this season. All right. So now, once we're done with the first pick, we just go to the second and third round. And what this is going to show you then is these are all the picks between our second pick and our fourth pick, all right? So if we sort by the draft position here, you can see we're at pick 23 and 26. This is going to show us all the players between pick number 20 and pick number 51. So there's a little bit of overlap on each side, but instead of being sorted by the draft position or being sorted by some, nebulous top 200 list, we're actually sorting it by the Vork scores. So when you're looking at this list of players, what you need to focus on is focus on the players at the top of the list, because the players at the bottom of the list are problematic, right? They offer terrible value. Like, look at AJ Green. Look at his value rank, 65th. We're at pick number 23, 26. You don't want to be picking a player with that poor of a value at this point in the draft. He's a bad choice, right? Likewise, a lot of low reliability players down here, a lot of low consistency numbers, 1 and 2 star outlook ratings. I mean, there's lots of negatives against these guys. So these are the guys you just need to stay away from. Focus on the guys at the top of the list. And the players that my app is recommending is Mike Evans, Patrick Mahomes, T.Y. Hilton. Now, I normally don't take a quarterback this early, but if you wanted to take Mahomes, hey, this is when you're going to have to take him. You're going to have to take him with probably your third pick, right? Actually, it looks like you'd probably have to take him with your second pick because his draft position is 24th. I would never take a quarterback with my second pick. But Mike Evans, awesome choice. Look at this, value rank of 17. Okay, so that means we get, he is undervalued, right? 5-star outlook, high reliability, high consistency. This is absolutely the kind of player that you want on your team. He's going to perform week in, week out. He's going to score you points. He's going to be a top 5 option every week in his position, right? And that's exactly what you want. Likewise, T.Y. Hilton is also very good, but you can see his value rank is not nearly as high, right? It's a little bit lower, but it is still fair value. His outlook, not quite as good, but a high reliability, 7 out of 10 consistency. He's a quality player. You can also see, what about like Zach Ertz, the tight end? Well, Zach Ertz is right here, and he ranks very well, but again, not as good on the value. His value is even lower. But we really want to get ourselves a running back and another running back along with our wide receiver, excuse me. And so right now at the top of the list, you got Philip Lindsay, who does not offer the best value for this point in the draft. That's probably his biggest negative. I do like his reliability and consistency. His outlook is good. 3 stars is good. Derrick Henry is currently injured, so I'm not recommending him right now, but once he gets off injury, I see him as a full participant in practice. He would definitely be at the top of my list, right? But Marlon Mack is the third guy on the list. Look, he offers pretty good value. He's a little bit overvalued, but not bad. Also, Josh Jacobs, another player who I think has a chance to become a workhorse, 3-down workhorse, which is very rare in the NFL anymore. So we've got some great options, right? So let's jump back here. It's almost back to our pick. I'm just going to queue up some guys here. So let's queue up Evans. We'll queue up Hilton, right? We'll queue up Mack. We'll queue up Jacobs. And so we got some good options, and you can see who's still on the board. Well, Damian Williams is another player who I'm interested in. He is injured right now, though, so I'm not drafting him. I'm not recommending him. George Kittle could potentially fall to us. Joe Mixon's still on the board. That's amazingly late for him to still be on the board at the 20th pick. Antonio Brown's still on the board. Now, Antonio Brown, if we want to look at him, he was supposed to go on the prior round, which is kind of surprising that he is still on the board. But Antonio Brown doesn't score well, and he doesn't score well because the biggest issue with him is the big contract and the change of teams, right? He's a great wide receiver, but these are the kind of players, when players get big contract payouts, when they change teams, they don't play as well as they had in the prior year when they were playing for that big contract, right? Also, it's a new quarterback. It's a new system. It's a new coach. Let's take Mike Evans, and then we'll wait for it to cycle back to us, and then we'll take we'll take either Mack or Jacobs. I think Mack should be the one that we'll take because he's got an established role. It's a good offense. Josh Jacobs, that's one of the big risks with him is that it's the Raiders, right? How good are they really going to be? I'm thinking maybe 8-8 is maybe a best case scenario on that team, but Josh Jacobs would get more work. Josh Jacobs will have more opportunities with the ball than Mack will. But still, he's not a bad choice, right? Neither one of these guys is bad. Again, they both are right next to each other as far as VORC score. Actually, Marlon Mack is substantially better, mostly because he's not a rookie. All right, so let's just go ahead. We'll take Mack. Okay, so we got Mack as our second running back, Kamara as our first, Mike Evans as our wide receiver. This is a pretty nice team so far. So let's jump to the next round, 4th, 5th round, all right? And so who's it recommending? Well, Philip Lindsay, he's on the board again, and you can see that his expected draft position is 49th. We're picking 47th, so we've got a good chance to get him, right? We probably will. You got James White as well. Josh Jacobs is a long shot. Now, if Josh Jacobs falls to our 4th pick, we will absolutely take him. He's great. Kenyon Drake is another option who I think is, he's better in full PPR, but I think he's got a good role. Maybe not the best value here. So we'll have to see what happens there. The app is recommending Philip Lindsay, Tyler Boyd, who would be a fantastic wide receiver. Talk about a lot of upside with the A.J. Green injury. Robbie Anderson, another fantastic wide receiver. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to queue up all these guys, and then we'll wait until it gets back to within 3 picks of our pick, and we'll see where we're at. All right, it's almost back to us, and you can see I've got all the players queued up here. Josh Jacobs did get taken, which is not surprising. Again, he was a long shot anyway to make it back to us. I also noticed that David Montgomery was available, recommended on this list at this round, so we're going to queue him up as well. I think if I had a choice between Drake and Montgomery, I think Montgomery's got the key to a larger role. So I like the whole idea of let's go and we'll get Lindsey. And then we'll get Montgomery. Now, I have been recommending this, that, 4 of your top 5 picks should be running backs. And the reason is because by the time it comes back to us in the 6th round, there is going to be peanuts for running backs left. I mean, just nobody that even has any startable value. And you need to have sufficient depth at the running back position that you'll be able to weather injuries, which are most common amongst running backs, right? So by having 4 running backs, that's going to give us sufficient depth that we're going to be able to weather that sort of storm. And then, of course, we'll take a couple of flyer running backs late, and hopefully those guys will turn into something, which would be fantastic. But for right now, again, going in with Kamara, Mack, Lindsey, and probably Montgomery or Drake, again, it's very important for your team. And you'll see that we'll still be able to get good wide receivers on the next round. Wide receivers are very, very deep. I'm a little unhappy that we have to pass on someone like Boyd or Anderson. But there will still be good some wide receiver 2s, wide receiver flex value that we can get in the next round, and that's what we're going to focus on as wide receivers, right? So let's go to the 6th and 7th round, and you can see that the top recommendation is Sammy Watkins, who would be an awesome wide receiver 2. I had him actually last year on my team, and when healthy, the guy is going to produce on the best offense in the NFL. That's going to happen, so I'm totally in on taking him at this late point in the draft. Remember, we're going to be at pick 71. Other wide receivers this round, we've got Robbie Anderson's a long shot, so if we got him, that would be an amazing steal, right? Sterling Shepard, who I'm not recommending right now because he's dealing with an injury, but he appears to be almost back. Once he comes off injury, he absolutely would be a recommendation on my on the Sap's part. D.D. Westbrook's another great option. Look, Christian Kirk right here as well. We've got some really good options. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to queue up all these guys. We're going to wait and see what happens and what wide receivers we can get for our team. All right, so it's coming back to us right now. You can see that we still have, unfortunately, a couple people's did get taken. Shepard got taken, Boyd got taken, and Anderson got taken. We knew that Anderson was a long shot anyway. Boyd, not at all surprising that he's gone. But look, we still got Watkins, we've got Westbrook, we got Kirk, all still on the board. So we are still in very good shape here for what we want to take this round. We can also see that Alshon Jeffrey is still on the board, and Alshon Jeffrey, which should have been on the next one, is also very well rated, top 50 value player, and I think we got to take that, right? And look, Calvin Ridley's here as well. I don't like Calvin Ridley as much because he did very, very well last year with touchdowns, so I think he's being overvalued, and his ability to grow his role on that offense, I think, is completely limited because he's sandwiched in between Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu, right? So anyway, we did get ourselves another top 50 wide receiver, and this is just another example of why you can wait on wide receivers. You can totally wait on them, and you'll still get great options. Look, we're going to get Sammy Watkins as our flex. That is amazing. He is going to be a 2 every game that he starts, and we got him in the 7th round. That's an amazing steal for a caliber of player like that on that caliber of offense. Obviously the reliability is an issue, but I think he's still a great choice. So let's jump to the next round. So the 8th, 9th round, who are we looking at? Okay, another great wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald. Vance McDonald, we do need to get a tight end, and he is one of my favorites. He's ended up on almost every single one of my rosters because he offers just the great combination of being very reasonable for his ADP and upside. I mean, huge upside for Vance McDonald this year. His big issue, of course, is his reliability, right? Darrell Henderson. All right, so here's the backup to Todd Gurley, man. I mean, if you are not a believer in Todd Gurley, or you think Todd Gurley's role is going to be scaled back significantly, which I do, Darrell Henderson is the guy that will fill in for him and will be an RB1 every week. So that's also a great pickup at this point in the draft, and he offers standalone value because Sean McVay has been talking about how Darrell Henderson is going to take on more of a Chris Thompson role, like Chris Thompson in Washington. So a third down, change of pace guy, catch a lot of passes. He's going to be, he's going to be on the field a lot in relief of Todd Gurley. So that does give him some value. I like the idea of going for Fitz and McDonald on this next round. If we look at other wide receivers, let's hear who else. Okay, Shepard's gone, Watkins is gone. Marvin Jones, who I'm not ready to recommend yet. He would be a good choice normally. Cortland Sutton, and there's not a lot of great options here. Dante Pettis, I do like. Curtis Samuel, I do like. These guys, I think have good outlooks this year. So let's queue up Fitzgerald, Pettis, and Samuel, Vance McDonald, and we will see what happens when it finally gets back to us. All right, it's almost back to us. And of course, Vance McDonald got taken right after I paused the video. He got taken a little early this round. So instead, I've queued up Njoku and also Trey Burton as far as tight ends go. They're obviously not as strong a candidate as McDonald, but Njoku's on a great offense. I think they're going to score a lot of points. He's going to have his touchdown opportunities, and he did make it to us. So let's go ahead. We'll take Njoku as our tight end, but Fitzgerald, Pettis, and Samuel are still on the board. And as far as those three guys, who offers the most value, let's take a look. Fitz is 73rd, Pettis is 74th, Samuel is 85th. So I think we got to go with Fitz. Certainly that offense looks like it could be exciting. A lot of pass volume, a lot of air raid, so that is a great option here in the 9th round. Now is when I really want to start looking at quarterbacks. And you can see here that a couple quarterbacks are coming up recommended on the next round. So you got Dak Prescott, you got Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, man, he is so disrespected in fantasy circles. I don't understand why. I had him on one of my championship teams last year. He was outstanding for almost the entire season. And he's on a top-notch offense. I mean, he operates a championship caliber offense in Los Angeles. So I think he's absolutely worth a pickup. What other quarterbacks are this round? Look, there's a bunch. You got Kirk Cousins, Jameis Winston, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, Jimmy Garoppolo. There is lots to choose from this round. I think Rivers would probably be my top choice. I'm a little bit skeptical of Dak Prescott, mostly because of the Zeke Elliott holdout. So if I go Rivers and Kirk Cousins is also a great quarterback. I got him as a borderline QB1. Lamar Jackson, I actually have him rated as a QB1. They're all decent choices this round. So let's get them queued up. And then as far as other players, looking at running backs, there's no running back here I'm really excited about. So I don't think we need to worry about that. We could take one more wide receiver, and in this case, N'Keal Harry would be the top choice. Again, very good value, right? So why don't we go for that? We'll go for N'Keal Harry, and we'll get ourselves a quarterback, and I will just pause the video, and we'll come back when we're within 3. Okay, so it came back to us, and it looks like Dak Prescott did get taken early, but that's no problem because he wasn't even my first choice. Phil Rivers is my first choice. N'Keal Harry still on the board. Trey Burton still on the board. Lamar Jackson still on the board. So we've got options here coming in on our pick. Let's go ahead and let's take Rivers first, since he's the closest to the top of the list, and get him as our quarterback. So there we go. We'll take Rivers, and then N'Keal Harry to follow up as one more wide receiver. I think that's a great option. And then 12-13, let's look for some high-flying running backs which have some significant upside. I think that'd be a great way to go here. Again, we've got 4 great startable running backs on our league, so let's look for upside players in the next round. So there we go. We'll take N'Keal Harry. Great. Everything's looking really good. So in the 12th, 13th round, if we filter just for running backs, You can see that Dion Lewis is up here. Certainly he has some value, but I just don't think he has startable value. I don't think he's going to, at any point during the year, is he going to be a startable asset, except for maybe during bye weeks in the flex position. But Damian Harris is a guy who I am big on. Now, he doesn't offer a lot of value, but he's on New England, right? And what I like to say about New England is if you take a New England running back in the top 100, you're going to get burned. But if you take a New England running back after pick 100, he's probably going to work out just fine for you. It happened last year. Sony Michel and James White were both the players that were available after pick 100. Rex Burkhead was the guy available before pick 100, okay? So he's a low-risk play. And should Sony get hurt, which Sony has had a tendency to do so far in his short NFL career, Damian Harris is going to be the guy in that backfield, right? So let's target Harris. You can also see here's another one I very much like, Jalen Samuels of Pittsburgh. Should Connor go down with an injury? Again, Connor's had some durability issues as well. Should he go down? Samuels is an RB1 guaranteed if Connor misses, right? Alexander Madison is the Minnesota running back, backing up Dalvin Cook, another low reliability player. These are the kind of guys you want to target late, right? Because they have what I consider a significant opportunity to come in and make an immediate impact should something bad happen to the players above them, right? So let's get all three of these guys queued up. Is there anyone else on this list that I'm particularly thrilled about? Not really. Devin Singletary's getting a little bit of buzz, but it's just such a crowded backfield. I don't want to deal with that right now. But these three guys, absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to pause the video here, and I'll get them queued up, and we'll see what happens. All right, it's almost back to us, and check it out. Lamar Jackson's still on the board. There's our guys, Harris, Samuels, Madison. These are going to be the last two spots of our bench, so I think this is very, very nice place to be. It looks like Lamar Jackson got taken right before our pick, so let's go with Damian Harris. Like I said, love that opportunity. Jalen Samuels, also, I think he's going to have a role even if Connor is healthy. That's kind of what it sounds like. Wait a minute. I just took him off of my queue. Let's add him to the queue. There we go. Okay. So just got to wait for it to click back to us. And there we go. Take Jalen. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to take the kicker and defense. We'll come back. We'll review the team and let's see how we feel about it. All right. Sounds good. All right, so let's review what we got. So I took Buffalo as my defense and Brett Maher, the Dallas kicker, as my kicker. For my quarterback, I got Phillip Rivers. For my tight end, I got David Njoku, which is a little weak. Not my favorite option, but he's not. I don't think he's going to be bad. I just don't think he's going to be like a low end TE1, right? For my wide receivers, Mike Evans, Alshon Jeffrey, Sammy Watkins, Larry Fitzgerald, and Keel Harry. That is amazing. That is a great core of wide receivers to have. Running backs, I got Alvin Kamara, Marlon Mack, Philip Lindsay, David Montgomery, and then I took Damian Harris and Jalen Samuels late. Again, we got some nice upside options, and we've got 4 startable guys in running back to start the season. All 4 of those guys can go any given week. I can slot them in and they can work, okay? So overall, I very much like this team. This is a very solid 12-team team to bring into the season. The second pick is always a little bit nebulous. I like to say that those super early picks are both a blessing and a curse, but you can make it work. And if you use my app, go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com, get my app, subscribe to it. It's only $9.95 for a full year subscription, and you can use it on as many fantasy drafts as you are in. It's got great customizable features, but it's really going to help you. It's going to help you stay away from the poor choices. It's going to help you easily find the best value players each round, and the best overall players each round, okay? So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please like and comment below and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, because we're going to be doing tons of mock drafts during the course of August and into early September. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Have yourself a good day and happy drafting, everybody.